Hello and welcome to Her Story, Our Story. My name is Stephanie Wall. They call me Speaker Stephanie. I am the CEO and founder of Speaker Stephanie LLC and the founder of Her Story, Our Story, 1 Hour of Power, and the founder of 1 Million Lives Transformed, where we transform lives, relationships, and finances. The goal is for every woman, every person to transform their lives. I particularly super serve those women who've experienced trauma in their lives. Welcome to Her Story, Our Story. Remember, you belong here. You belong there. You belong everywhere. Be sure to shine your light. My name is Stephanie Wall, and I'm certainly getting it all. Come on in.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Her Story, Our Story. My name is Hope Jackson, founder of Always Hope, and my purpose and goal is to help women to unlock what is hidden inside them. I know from experience that sometimes in life when you're going through dark times, you don't realize the purpose that you have inside of you. So my goal is to help you to find it, and just to remind you that no matter what you go through in life, there is always hope.
Welcome to Her Story, Our Story, 1 Hour of Power. Hey, Hope, how's it going?
Hey there, Stephanie. It's another day, and we got another powerhouse coming at us tonight.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to Dr. Nicole Roberts Jones, honey. This is a hot topic. So we're going to do everything with decency and order. I'm going to fall back, and Hope is going to go ahead and open us up in decency and order, and we'll be right back.
Well, good evening, everyone. Just first and most and foremost, we just want to give honor to God. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for allowing us to get through our day and to come online tonight, Lord Father God, just to fellowship with each other, just to share some information to help one person to be able to transform their lives. Lord Father God, we thank you for Nicole's yes, for coming on tonight just to share her wisdom and knowledge, because we know when you share wisdom and knowledge with others, it should help to motivate others to move forward. So Lord Father God, we just thank you. We just allow you to have your way tonight. And all these things we ask in your mighty and precious name. Amen.
Amen. You got to look down to make sure I had that unmuted because this is what I do. So without further ado, Hope, I'm excited. I got to bring her up. Now, I'm going to give you all the juice because y'all need to hear from her yourself. But I want to give you a little bit. And she probably going to be like, don't you read that bio? I'm going to give a little bit of it. A little bit. Dr. Nicole Roberts Jones, affectionately called, and I love this, the purpose producer. Y'all are not even ready. She is uniquely gifted at one thing, and that is to draw out what's best in you. She got me right there. I just want to know all the rest of it. But this is the thing, you all. I love the fact that she said, look, she knows what works for entrepreneurs and how to generate multiple revenues of income. Y'all look, I don't want to hold up. I got questions, and I know y'all do too. So, and you've been reading her bio since I put it up there. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go for right next. I got to bring her up. So coming to the stage is Dr. Nicole Roberts Jones, this amazing queen. Hello.
Hey, I'm so excited. Look, my hair's so big. I'm like, let me try to get in the screen so my hair don't take over the screen. So yeah, I'm so excited to be
here. Listen, thank you for your yes. But let me tell you something, your bio, I was like, well, I just got questions because she said she's a veteran of the entertainment industry. She worked as a talent management and casting before. I was like, oh, she just got stories.
You know, I do.
You know, I hope it's like, ooh, girl, let me get to it. So we're not going to chomp it up because we got questions, and I'm going to fall back because I'll get caught up. So Hope can ask you these first questions so we can hear from you. So I'm going to fall back. Hope.
Good evening, Dr. Nicole. Again, thank you so much for your yes and coming on tonight. So, you know, it is standard on Her Story, Our Story. We always ask our guests, what is your 6-word story?
So my 6-word story is I am called to help highly skilled professionals make multiple streams of income from their God-given purpose. That's it. There might have been 7 words, but that's it.
That's all right. It's okay. We can go over on them words, but the fact that you are just doing what you know how to do, what you've mastered in doing, teaching others how to stream and make a revenue as an entrepreneur is just amazing. The other thing we asked you is an object. You should have an object that means something to you. So if you could show the audience your object and just explain to them what it means to you.
Y'all can see that through all the so this is a double meaning for this. So this is my first business card, but I found it. My father passed in 2014, and I'm an only child, and I was cleaning out his house, and he saved everything that I ever did. And so when I came upon this, he had more than one, by the way, y'all. So I put it in a frame because number one, it reminds me of my dad, but number two, it was my first business card. And I don't know if you're going to ask me about my story, so I'll hold up on it, but it means something because of my purpose journey as well. I think you're mute. There you go.
Yeah, I had to catch it. I'm up to chomping. I was like, at first, I don't know about y'all, but as soon as I seen BET, I was like, what does that be? I was leaning all up in the screen, like, what that thing say? Right? So I know she's going to give us the juice. So you're going to hold that juice for just a moment. We're going to do a quick, super, super quick little commercial, and then we're going to come back. Y'all good with that? And I know y'all said, for those of you all that are leaning in, we'll give you more information. And at some point, we're also going to put her information at the bottom so you can follow her everywhere. But start with the website. We want you to start there. All right, y'all. Here we go. Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. It's an online free private group for women. There's a huge disconnect between what we go after and what we really want. Let's move forward. Join Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. Do you sometimes feel unfulfilled and confused about your purpose? You don't have to go it alone. Come on over to the No Judgment Zone where you're going to connect with other like-minded women from all over the world and receive support from others who have been through similar situations. Everyone has a story. What's your story? Seeking guest speakers. Do you have a story, talent, or ability that you would love to share? We invite you to be our guest.
I think you're on mute again.
I need my cup. I need my cup. I have a cup that said you're on mute. That reminds me to
Okay.
So, Dr. Nicole, I want you to tell us so what does that card say? And tell us before, because everyone that comes here, everybody sees your current situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to do while you're telling us what that card says and what it means to you and why and all that good stuff. Well, you told us the why, but tell us more information. I want you to tell us who was Dr. Nicole Roberts Jones before she was Dr. Nicole Roberts Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it starts with this card. So I love that question. So first, let me say this: what I've learned in the 28 years that I've been in this work, and I said 28, so mind your business how old I am, but is that our purpose matriculates. So if you haven't guessed, yes, I worked in the entertainment industry. She read it in my bio too. So I graduated, and my undergraduate degree was TV and film. Matter of fact, I had the job I have dreamed of ever since I was 7 years old. So my first job was BET. So I worked for BET, and we had an outreach in all the programs we worked in. We had outreach to over 89 million homes on a weekly basis. So my card says production assistant, researcher, and then I became talent coordinator. So I had multiple jobs while I was at BET. Then I moved from there and I worked on the #1 TV show on Fox in casting. And then from there, I graduated and I worked with a production group, and what we produced generated over $12.6 billion a year. And I'm sharing that with you because I was playing pretty big. I was bumping elbows with the stars. And Dr. Stephanie, if you know me like I think you know me, I was going to all the Hollywood parties. So I was living the dream. But can I tell you, in the dark of the night when I was by myself, now this was back in 1993, y'all. When I was by myself, I felt like something was missing. And I couldn't understand how I could feel like something was missing when I loved my job. And so what I didn't realize is God was calling me to my next level of my purpose. And so to make an even longer story short, every time I talk to one of my girlfriends about it, they would say, have you lost your mind? Do you realize that we went to this party and girl, you went to this VIP and you on the red carpet? And yeah. So that made me even more confused about what I was feeling. But I didn't know was God was rumbling up my spirit. Those of you that remember that song in church, stir up the gift, stir it up, stir it up. Yeah, God was stirring up my gift, really, really stirring it up. But at the time I was 23. I didn't know what the heck this was that I was feeling. And so one of my good girlfriends invited me to volunteer at a program at our church one Friday night. Working with young people in that church that night lit my heart up like I had nothing I'd ever felt before. And every young woman I worked with, as their eyes lit up, I said, oh my God, this thing is what I'm meant to do. This thing was called coaching. But again, this was 1993. I didn't know what to call this thing, but for the first time, my soul was alive. And so I had a decision to make. And so, Dr. Stephanie, that's how I started in this work in 1993 in my church as a volunteer. I started coaching young women. That program soon grew to adult women because my girls started to graduate from high school, which was a point. By the way, that one program became 10 programs in 10 churches throughout the country. So God kept growing my gift and growing my gift to the point where I started working with women and then high skilled professionals because I do always have a few good men. And really all I do now is I produce purpose. So if I make this longer story short, because I could talk for the next 5 hours, y'all. So I started in production and casting. Do you know that I'm doing the same thing now as a purpose producer? What I realized is as the prayer Jabez and anybody that God has used great in the Bible, if you read Abraham, since y'all started prayer, I can go all into the Bible. When God called Abraham out of his comfort, he told him to leave his family and leave what you know. That is exactly what God did for me when he had me leave entertainment. He wanted to see if he could trust me and taking me into a new arena that we had not heard of yet. And so literally I'm still producing purpose. I'm still putting people in the right role in their business and helping them create all the programming they should be getting paid for. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to say this and I'll close. When you do the thing that God created you to do in this world, you profit. Now, the word profit means gain. And I get so many people that send me inbox messages and say, how can you say God and profit in the same sentence? Again, the word profit means to gain. So when you do the thing God created you to do, you're gaining for a couple people. One, of course, you're gaining for you because God's going to always give back to you when you work hard and do what he has called you to do. But the two most important places that the gain happens in, one is for all the people that need you. There are a group of people looking for the gifts inside of you. Number one. Number two, you're gaining for the kingdom. See, God created all of us to tend to this earth and keep it. And so when you do what you do and I do what I do, yeah, we're tending to the world to keep it. And it's my calling that you understand what it is, whether you're meant to start a business or a career or whatever that is for you, the role that God created you to dominate in. So that's how I got here.
You better come. Good. Okay, now. You done came up on here and did this thing. You know what? You answered one of my questions. And the question was, one, let me just tell you this. You are brilliant. I'm sitting up in there like, she coaches, right? But what inspired you? You already told me what inspired you to start doing what you do. But who are some of your mentors? Who are that help you to hone your skill? Because we good and then we want to hone it. So who was your mentors? Who do you?
So I will tell you, my current mentor is Reverend Isaac Petrie. One of the things that I'm quickly learning, so I'm clear that I'm a marketplace apostle. Some of y'all are gonna be like, "Ooh, she's saying terms, right?" So I'm called to the marketplace. I'm not called to the pulpit. Listen, you all, how many of you guys have ministry? All of you should have your virtual hand up. Why? Because ministry, the word ministry, look it up. Of course, there's definitions in the dictionary that say something about religion and pulpit, but the third definition in just about every dictionary says that it's someone that's serving people. We all are called to do that. So I'm clear, I'm a minister, but I'm not called to the pulpit or the church. I'm called to the marketplace. And it was hard for me to find someone that could coach me around that because it's a new concept. And so Pastor Petrie has he has a huge following and he understands that. So that is who my mentor is. But people that I follow are people like one of my favorite people, Ayanna Van Zant, because she always talks about doing the work. Love her, went to her retreat, by the way. And she, as my clients say, snatched my edges. got my life together, helped me stop playing small. So I have a lot of silent mentors, and I can go on and on about TD Jakes and people that I haven't met yet. But my biggest one right now is Isaac Petrie, who really is pouring into me and my ministry as I learn and grow in this new arena.
When you said snatch those edges, I was with you, and you when you said Iyanla, I was gonna mess it up, right? Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with the silver method, right? And so one of the things when you're in the silver method, they talk about you having your place where you go to get business done, and how you have to have a mentor or or advisor. But you decided, and my advisor, one of my advisors is Iyanla. I talk to her often. She and I talk quite often. She guides me on my path. That is key. Well, wait a minute. So I got one more.
You already know. So listen, I went to her retreat, y'all. Listen, and the reason I'm sharing with you is because many of you think you've arrived, okay? And I had a master's degree. I was teaching and by the way, I've had 20 jobs, so I'm probably Jamaican or somewhere in my roots. But anyway, so I used to be an adjunct professor, not at one prestigious university, but two. I'm sharing that with you because my ego, I was kind of full of myself. And so I kept feeling like I should, and I got to a place in my business where I was absolutely failing. And when I say failing is I had a daytime job because I had to be able to eat because my business, although it sounded great, all the stuff I just said, I wasn't generating any revenue at the beginning. And so there were two things in my way. Number one, ego, because I kept saying I should know how to do this. And I'm like, God, you called me to this. Where you at? And that was pretty much my prayer. And so I'm going to tell you, God began to show me that I was in my way. And no matter who I hired, and I've gone to counseling wasn't doing it anymore. So when I went to Ayanna Van Zant's retreat, I promise you, I was like, can you get out of my business? You don't even know my name yet. And she was reading me. And I left that weekend a whole new person because what she began to show me were all the, I like how blind spots. Oh, you could be brilliant. You can have a PhD. You can have a title behind your name. You could be sitting in the corner office and still have areas you need to improve. And so when I left that place, I began to see all the holes I had in my business. And I'm going to tell you, I went from broke to making multiple streams of revenue. And I realized that God had me go through that whole time, like the children of Israel, going around the same mountain over and over again, because I wouldn't be as passionate about teaching other people all that I learned. It didn't have to take me so long to learn it, but I was hard-headed. And I kept expecting that what I already knew, I should be able to figure this out, but I wasn't. And really my ego and some of my mindset was in my way.
Ooh, you all in my lane, girl. You better get up off my street. And look, I'm sitting there like she talking about me because I we can sit up here.
Look,
I got this, I got that. I went to this school. I got that. We like to put labels and titles, and at the end of the day, we all know. In fact, let me bring my hope up here. In fact, we all know for a fact. My one of my good best friends, she talked about the fact, girl, that I got my Harvard. I don't even know what that degree is, Stephanie.
Okay.
She was like, I had this long title and a little bit of cash. She said, but it sound good. And she was like, so don't you be fooled by people with their long titles, and then when they show up, because we know our representative always shows up first.
And can I just say this? So I'm from South Central LA. So those of you that have seen Boys in the Hood, that's pretty much 10 blocks from there is where I grew up. So even though I had gone and got all these degrees and got all these titles, South Central was still present. So why I'm sharing that with you. So I had let go of the, because she was there too. She's still present, by the way.
I was happy she could take
her. But my mindset, I call it your bankroll zip code. Because if you grew up saying things like robbing Peter to pay Paul, or I'm broke, or money doesn't grow on trees, even though you might not say those things, if you don't stop to dissipate the way they've infiltrated your soul. And so the reason my ego was inflated is because, I had done so many things my neighborhood would have never allowed. However, I hadn't done the mindset work. And that makes the difference.
Wait a minute. So Hope has a couple of questions, but I want you to answer this question. I know you will, but before you leave, I want you to answer this question. How can other women tap into their brilliance and achieve success in their chosen fields? I want you to answer before you leave.
The first thing I'm going to say, and I'm about to probably snatch somebody's edge, so I'm going to need you to write this down. Your comfort and your conviction can never coexist. When God is calling you to a new level, it's not going to be comfortable or easy. He's not coming for who you already are. He's coming for who you have not yet become. Had I learned that from the beginning, I would have been successful so much faster. But you've got to understand it's going to be uncomfortable. And God is going to let you settle. If you want to stay in mediocre and good enough and average, He's going to let you settle. So you got to be willing to do whatever it takes to do it afraid and know that it's going to be uncomfortable. The second thing I would say is if you're going to do something different, then you need different tools to get there. So what I realized finally after I had done all the work and got rid of the ego, she's still here too though, but I know when she rears her head, is I hired a coach. And that coach began to see, I said this a minute ago, in my blind spots. So all of you guys that drive, that have a driver's license, you know, when you're taking your driver's test, they tell you to turn your head all the way around and look in your blind spot. Even though you got a rear view mirror and a side view mirror and a rear view mirror, you still got to look. Well, when you're growing into a new version of you that you have not yet become, there are blind spots, areas of your brilliance that you don't even realize are there. So I'll give an example and then I'll hush because again, I can keep talking, y'all. So I was blessed to work with Dr. Deborah Tillman. I like to use her for an example. She is America's super nanny. And so when you think about somebody like Deborah, who has a huge platform, she's a parenting coach, she's on TV, but people don't know she owns childcare centers, she's traveling all over the world. So she had the opposite issue from me. So there was a time I wasn't making any money. She was making plenty of money, but her problem was because she was so busy, she couldn't take on all the families that needed her. And so she came to me, and this is really what I do with my clients, by the way, y'all. I told her that we needed to create a blueprint from her gift. There has to be a methodology. And she goes, "Oh, no. I tailor the experience every time I work with someone." And I go, "Okay, are you done with that?" Now she was silent, so I just knew she was gonna fire me. And I was like, "Oh Lord, can't believe I said that." So I think she humored me, and I gave her the homework I give to every one of my clients. She came back in tears. And I'm sharing that with you because every morning when you wake up, you are you on autopilot. So there are things intrinsic to your DNA, your distinct natural ability that you don't realize that you do. And again, it's going to take an outside person to see in that blind spot to show you you. So one, you've got to be willing to do it and do it uncomfortable. You're going to have to come out of that comfort zone. And number two, you need somebody that can see inside your blind spots because you cannot see the label from inside the jar. You cannot see the label. This is my bottle of water. This is vitamin water. For those of you, it's not Kool-Aid. So you can't see this label. If I'm inside this jar, I can't see this label. So when I'm trying to explain to people what I do, there are things I do that I don't realize that I do. That is what I'm talking about, where you've got to be willing to do the work so someone can help you see you in ways that you've never seen your gift before.
You didn't came on here and yes, ma'am, I'm taking my notes. I got my notes over here. And hope I've seen you doing. I already know my co-host is taking copious notes. You had her when you came on here quoting scripture, so that was that right there. So I'm ready to fall back right now so she can answer these questions. I know she's like, if she has some questions, I swear for goodness.
I got so many notes. I got to turn back to the page and I got the question. But I'm getting so much information. I didn't feel like you in my head right now. So you didn't been on my street in my head and everything. But, what is one of the most challenging things for you in your field that you've had to overcome, or that you've had to kind of do to get to where you are today?
So what I'm doing, I think my thing is echoing. So what I'm doing, there's no one out there doing this thing called marketplace ministry. And I'm not saying no one's doing it. There are people doing it, but there's not one place you can go and get this data. So really what I know is God created all of us. First of all, God was the first person to work. And so when God gave me, so by the way, my mandate, let me just tell you so that I can answer the question the right way, right? Not the right way, but so that it makes sense to you. Genesis 1:28 is a mandate God gave to me, which says, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion. That's the Cliff Note version. Okay. Fruitful, multiply, have dominion. Now listen, when God said this to me, I was 48 and I was like, hold on, Lord, wait a minute now. I don't have no kids of my own. I ain't feeling no Sarah's spirit on me. I ain't trying to have no babies right now. But I don't want to be disobedient, but are you sure? And God began to show me that he created us to be fruitful with our gift. And so to answer your question, Hope, I had to start to study that because there wasn't a place that showed me that with my gift. When we hear fruitful, multiply, we think have babies. And so as I began to do the study, I began to seek out places where I could grow in this marketplace gift, and there isn't any. Yes, you go to church, but church isn't helping you build your business in a monetary profit kind of way. Sure, you can go get an MBA or go to business school, but the business school isn't connecting your faith. So my hardest part for me in this calling is creating that space. And I'm going to tell you, people get mad. I get so many inbox messages and then I'm starting to say, God wants you to be rich. Because then God had the nerve to say, stop saying profit, start saying rich. I'm like, for real, Lord, you want me to say rich? So people start getting offended. But you need to understand, let me just say this and then I'll hush. There's a Bible verse that says, the love of money is a root of all evil. I think it's 1 Timothy 6:10. Let me tell y'all, I can quote the Bible and sometimes I won't know where it is, but it's in the Bible. The love of money is the root of all evil. People kind of misunderstand that. This was me as well. It's the love of money. So I'm not doing what I'm doing to make money. Now, of course, I need to make money because I need to eat, but I'm not focused on the material. I'm focused on the spiritual. So I need you to get this. When you're even looking at creation, the creation doesn't separate spiritual from material. God wants us to live abundantly. But I'm not talking about Gucci, Louis Vuitton. I'm not saying don't buy those things either, but that shouldn't be the focus. The focus, when I'm saying profit or riches, is when you make money, how are you blessing the people that need you? So if I use myself for an example, or even Dr. Deborah Tillman for an example, who's also a God's girl, when she wanted to generate more, she wasn't coming to me to generate more money. Let me keep it all the way real. She wanted to be able to serve more people. And for her and many of my clients is learning how to make money in your sleep so that you don't have to be present. So what that means, again, going back to profit, the word profit means gain. So the more profit I make, the more people I can serve. And then I can also do things like give to charities. I can pay for my mother to retire. I can pay for my kids, my stepkids to go to college in cash. So there are also things that allow me to live an abundant life that are not focused on material. So that is where I've really had to study. And I really am called to teach God's people that you were created to profit, which is gain. Is gaining for God, is gaining for the people that need you, and God's gift back to you is that you gain. And let me end with this. When you were little and you got a good grade on your report card, what happened? Whether you grew up with your parents or your grandparents or whoever raised you, didn't you get rewarded when you did well? So why would God, our Heavenly Father, not want to award us when we do well? There are example after example in the Bible of wealthy people God blessed because they did exactly what God created them to do. That is that profit that comes back to you. And I know I went on a tangent because I get excited, but did I answer your question?
Yes, you definitely answered the question, gave me a whole lot of other nuggets to go with, and I believe everybody else. I really hope everybody is leaning in tonight because you aren't just sharing, you are preaching a whole word right here.
Because you know
So,
what, you guys, I get excited about it because I had to research this. There was no place for me to go. And the hardest part for me was as God reveals things to me, and when I start reading and God will take me to another place, I'm like, oh, that's good, God. And I get excited. And then I'm like, how come other people don't know this? So I get excited to share because for so long, especially I'm from the hood. So again, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Oh, that was my story. Oh, we broke. That was my story. And so God never intended for us to live that way.
so good, so good. So I do need to go back because there was something you meant. You said when God gave you Genesis 1:28, you stated your age that He
So
gave
I'm
it to
actually
you.
52. I'm actually 52. I have no problem saying that. I've been doing this since I was 23. I'll be 50 this year. Yes, girl. God is good. Look, everything, if it's seed time and harvest, y'all know that's the principle for everything, right? So what you put in, you get back. So let me tell you, I work hard. I don't want to work out. I wish I could tell my trainer, you work out for me, girl. I'm gonna sit right here and drink this water right here while you do that, and I need to look like J-Lo. I wish I could do that. But that's in everything. If we want wonderful children, we've got to invest in our children. If we want our bodies to at least be healthy, listen, I get a facial every month because I am vain. The nerve of it. Yes, I'm saved and vain at the same time. Yes. So I get a facial every month. So there are things you've got to do if you want certain things. You've got to invest at the level you want to see the return in every area of your life. That includes in your purpose. So I appreciate you for seeing it, girl. I appreciate you.
You done made me come back up on this here stage when well, first of all, I gotta say, I just love your spirit, your energy, and I love your truth, and I love that you telling. Listen, I love when you say, "Here's invest in yourself," y'all. How many times we gotta say it? I have this little thing about before everybody want money. Do re mi. I will not. If you're not willing to work as hard for my money as I am, why in the world am I loaning it to you?
Right.
If somebody can tell me why you what's going on? Oh, because I was tired. I ain't feel like going to work. Oh, I quit that job because they got on my nerves. Oh, see, that's it. We got that. Look, man, but there's some things. I mean, there's a process. Investment, invest in that blueprint. And look, and you all blueprint in your personal life and a blueprint in your professional life, and the two should collide because they're one and the same. But I want to tell me this. What do you love most about what it is that you do?
I just love that. First of all, I never feel like I'm working ever. This is the way God created me. I should have brought a picture. I have a picture of myself in my last book when I was 3. And I have a baby carriage. Now, at 3, if a 3-year-old has a baby carriage, what's in that baby carriage usually? A baby, right? Not me. I have papers and books because I've always been a producer. When I was 7 years old, matter of fact, one of my good girlfriends I've known since second grade got married about 6 years ago. And all my elementary school friends were sitting at the table and they were teasing me. Saying, Nicole, you were bossy because you used to tell us all the characters we were going to play when we were little. Yeah, I was producing us playing it outside. That's who I've always been. So I get to do this and get paid for it. So sometimes I feel guilty that I'm producing people and I get paid for it. And I'm glad somebody just wrote invest in yourself. Here's the thing I want to say about that. Because, Dr. Steffi, you had me going, girl. But I was like, let me calm down. So listen, go and read the parable of the talents, y'all. Matthew, I think it's 25, 14 through 30. If it's not 25, it's 24, but it's somewhere around there. I told you I know the Bible. I just sometimes don't know where it is. So listen, it talks about a employer who had employees, and I said servant, but I don't like that word, so I say employees. And he gave 3 of them talents and said, hold them, I'll be back. Now, talents, I love that it's called talents, but he's talking about money. Now, the first one deposited it and made 3 times the amount. The second one deposited, made 2 times the amount. The third one did nothing. I'm sharing that with you because these 2 invested in it. So when people say things to me like, well, I've been praying and asking God to help me, but what you doing? What you doing about it? Faith without works is dead. Or I've been waiting for the Lord, or I don't want to spend that kind of money. So you don't want to invest in it, but you want God to give you a return. See, oftentimes God is looking at you. He's giving you the gift. And so the thing that I love is that every day I feel like I'm giving God a great return on his investment as I do the thing that I know I'm purposed to do. Even if I feel guilty, I get paid to do it because I love it so much. And so what God is looking for from all of us is what's his return on his investment? How do you give back to God what he's giving you and give it back to him 2, 3, 4 times fold? That's the multiply, by the way, in Genesis 1:28. To be fruitful, which means producing good results, and multiply, which means increase. From the dominion, the one lane God has created you to dwell in. So what I love the most is being able to teach that, hold the space for it, and to then see my clients who are moving into 6 figures and 7 figures because I see the number of people they bless. One of my clients just started a nonprofit and just gives money to it, to give scholarships. And that's not her business, but that's how much revenue she's generating. So that's what makes me excited is that I could see the gain that others are putting out in the world because they're doing what they were born to do.
Ooh, Hope, I know. Listen, we said, whenever we get a good, we like to say good special guest, we can't, because look, we have to remind ourselves to come back on screen because we're so busy writing. And you are that one, honey. You are that one, Dr. Nicole. You are amazing. A brilliant. And you know what? This is the thing. Some people talk about what they do, and they may even sound energized, but the spirit knows when you're authentic. And so do your listeners. And I'm going to tell you, we many of us, and a lot of people do have the spirit of discernment. And I know for a fact, I can feel all of it through here. Of course, seeing you in person, but I can feel it I mean, nobody listening is saying, I don't want to work with her. Maybe it is, it's somebody for everybody. But what I do know that all of these people listening are saying, woo, they're looking at that link at the bottom of the screen right now, trying to figure out how they can make it happen because you are amazing. And so I thank you.
And let me give y'all a free gift because listen, so because I've been talking about this Dominion Fruitful Multiply, and I'm saying it backwards now. Formula is what I call it now, the DFM formula. I'm gonna give you my DFM formula book for free. So all you've got to do is go to DFM Dominion Fruitful Multiply book. Excuse me, no. DFM formula book. Forgot the formula part. DFMformulabook.com. And it'll walk you through those 3 areas. It also walks you through how you can make multiple streams of revenue from your genius. And if there's any way I can serve you, reply to that email. Just, you're going to get an email when you buy the book. Look, I'm going to be honest. When you get the book, you're going to be in my email system. So if there's any way I can serve you, reply to the email. And whether it's me or somebody on my team, we are here to serve you, not sell you, but to serve you.
Okay, so make sure we have it right. DFMformulabook.com.
Yep.
All right. Y'all go on in there. Just go on in there, click now and get in it because you need this. Who doesn't need it? Oh my goodness. Hope, I know you have a question. I'm going to stand back.
I love how Dr. Sippy pops in with all her energy, then she just pops out.
And she's talking about, I got a question. I'm trying to type in and get my free book. I mean, you talked a lot about what you do and how you got started, who you serve. So I'm just going to break it up a little bit. If you were given the opportunity to go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
So it's funny you asked this. My husband and I were just talking about this the other day. So Africa is on my bucket list, and we've been trying to figure out where we want to go in Africa. So by the way, any of y'all have any suggestions, please feel free to send me a DM and tell me where I should go in Africa. But I have always, one of the things that I've been blessed to do since I met my husband is travel internationally. And I just haven't had a chance to go to Africa yet. So, and of course, why would I not want to go to my motherland? Hello. So Africa is where I want to go. Yes.
Hope, I think your sister is asking you to write it down for her because she's watching, but she ain't home.
She's driving. Oh, she said watching, but I'm not home.
You know what sister that is? That's the sister that used to come on and get a benediction all the time. That's the sister.
That's Julie. I knew it. Oh my gosh! But listen, Africa is on my bucket list as well. It is, and I'm pretty sure that Stephanie Jeffries is going to be the one to reply to you on that because she's been trying to tell me different places. But But now, of course, I just got to go to South Africa, but I want to go to South Africa, but I want to go to other parts as well.
Me too. Right. So I'm like, do I do one trip and just stay for a month? But can I afford to do that? Not money buzz. I'm talking about be away from my gift because then I know I'm going to go stir crazy because I love my job. So, can I do that for a month or do I go and take several different trips? And then somebody said, you don't want to go to South Africa first. You want to go to Ghana. So now people are like confusing me. Then somebody else said someplace else. I'm like, look, y'all. Can we get a consensus and y'all stop telling me different things because now I don't know where to go.
But know this though, no matter wherever you go, you ain't gonna stop working. Your gift is gonna be working. And everybody I know that has gone to Africa, particularly in our space, right? They get there and they go there like they're gonna go on vacation. But every time you cannot not fix a problem when you see it.
Right.
You like what? And then somebody so much as ask you, well, what are you doing? They're going to ask.
Yes. So that's one. I mean, I've gone to Paris and, and I don't want to minimize it, but I've done the cliche stuff already. Right. And I'm not minimizing. I've loved it. Right. So one is Africa, one Singapore. I had tickets to go to Singapore, but then COVID happened. So didn't get to do that. So hopefully in the next year or two, I want to go to Africa first and then Singapore. Those are my next two on my list.
Well, I want you to know that I was in the middle of planning to go to Africa. It was going to be going on Ethiopia Airlines, which I just want to see what's all the right. And it was 4 different locations, Tanzania and some other places. COVID happened. it was, and then right now, we don't know who doing what, so we're just trying to stand
Right.
still. But I'm going to go. It's a couple places now. Of course, I want to go to Bora Bora before they had those little huts that everybody's all pumped up to go. But now I do want to go and see what's the brouhaha about the little huts that's in the advertisement. Everybody's talking about the tranquility of it all.
Right.
Will I be able to disconnect? Will I be able to disconnect? That's the question.
And that's the hard thing for me is being in another country and I want to take time off and I'm in a whole different. So when it's morning here, it's night there. So you can't even try. I mean, I can still work, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to. But at the same time, I get ideas and thoughts and I'm going to call my team. I'm like, but they sleep, so I can't call them right now. So that's what I mean by, can I be gone for a month? Because when I'm away is when I feel like God drops the best ideas. And then I'm like going to start crazy because I want to tell somebody, but I can't because I'm in another country. That's where I have to like juggle.
Well, I'm gonna Regina said, don't be calling her. Don't be calling her.
Okay.
See, I got one name. I'm gonna worry it out. Look. So wait a minute. I'm gonna.
All right, Tara got her book. I see you, girl.
Look, she said I got my book.
Yes, I love it.
Oh my God, and that's Hope's other sister.
All right, big family.
You know that they don't mess around, and I'm looking. So here's this. I want to know because it's 7-Eleven. I'm not going. I want to fall back because I want you to tell someone if they go to NicoleRobertsJones.com and they say I want to do business. I want to do business with her. What can they expect? What and who are these people who's your avatar? Who are the people that you work with?
So my ideal client. So first of all, you don't have to be saved, but you're going to hear a whole lot about Jesus. So I'm just letting you know up front. But my ideal client is a highly skilled professional that wants to start their purpose-focused business alongside their 9-to-5. So you've been having this desire to start a business and you don't know where to begin, or you've already started your business. And I'm talking about a service-based business. So you're a lawyer, an accountant, you're a physical trainer, you're an image consultant, and you're not making multiple streams of revenue, either spot. You are my ideal client. So the first place I'm going to recommend you go on my website, if you see Work with Nicole, you can skip that all the way. You can go to BrillianceMasteryAcademy.com. That's my signature program. That is what I call my incubator that moves you from purpose. And here's the thing. Most people think they know their purpose, and you might know it, but God didn't create you to be a cookie cutter. So we need to get clear on how God created you and the way to package that so you look like nobody else but you. So there's a difference between purpose and having a purpose system. So in Brilliance Mastery Academy, I walk you through the 4 systems you need: your purpose system, your tribe building system, your back end system. Because listen, if you're going to make money while you sleep, people got to somebody going through one of my programs and I'm here with you. Because it's online. Listen, I've had clients in Singapore, Aruba. It amazes me still. I'm like, that's Singaporean client. I was like, how did you find me? Online. But I was never present because it's an online program, y'all. So by the way, my team was your back end, and then a sales system. So that's BrillianceMasteryAcademy.com. And listen, I never enroll you. If you know, now's your time, click and set up a call. You can't enroll anyway without having a call with us. And the reason I do that is because I want to assure that's the first best move for you, so that if it's not, my team will make another recommendation for you. The reason I do that, Dr. Stephanie, is because when I was lost and trying to figure out what to do, I didn't know who to ask any questions to. So I knew I needed to invest in coaching, but I didn't know where to start. And that is why we offer a call. So if you're not ready to invest in yourself, don't set up a call because you know it's going to cost something. But if you're ready, then definitely go to BrillianceMasteryAcademy.com. Check it out. If it looks like a great fit, great. Click, set up a call. It's an enrollment call. And then my team, if we don't believe that's a good fit for you, will offer you some other way, whether it's me or somebody else. But yeah, that would be the first best place to go if you're ready to start or grow your purpose-focused business.
So I want to ask you this question because we have, as you can imagine, all of the primarily women, because that's who I super serve. They're in this group and that follow me, that are people that attach themselves, or we serve together, if you will. Mm-hmm. One of the things that one of the reasons I started HerStory to begin with is because many of us have a story, but some of us, our story is holding us hostage, right? Mm-hmm. You told them your truth. You told them this is I'm from. Some people from wherever they're from, like myself. We at humble beginnings. But some people, they will never tell that story because it somehow they feel it somehow makes them smaller. So one of the reasons I started this platform was so everybody, so that we can bring on people like yourself who has a story, so they can tell individuals, listen, this is my story. You see who I am. I'm telling you who I am. You can go click on Googleable, but I want to tell you about who I was. So I want you to tell us about a time that you failed at something.
Oh.
Or you felt, no, you faced a challenge. We didn't fail.
Mhm.
We faced a challenge, and how you overcame it, and
Yes.
how it has made you who you are today.
So, I have to tell the story because I kind of talked around it. So let me tell you guys the full story of when I failed in my business, because it wasn't that I wasn't smart. It wasn't that I didn't have everything that God gave me. I just didn't know what to do with it. Let me keep it all the way real. So I told you I started in 1993 doing this thing called coaching. So by 2010, some 17 years in, my business looked successful. So back then I had a for-profit and a nonprofit. In my nonprofit, I was coaching African-American teenage girls. And I'm going to pull all the pieces together because I've dropped little nuggets so you guys are going to see how everything came together. So I had 10 chapters in 10 churches. It was faith-based in 10 cities throughout the country. And we were growing by leaps and bounds. Back then I had in my for-profit rather, I had a maxed out coaching client roster, meaning I couldn't take another client. So in 2010, I wrote my first book, thinking that I'd give the principles to young women, or excuse me, I'd give principles to my highly skilled professional women that I was coaching, and then that could be a fundraiser for my teenage girls at the same time. Well, when that book came out, is when my speaking career started. I started getting invitations to speak all over the country. So every single weekend, I was at a church doing a women's empowerment event or an entrepreneurial conference somewhere. I loved every minute of it. It was everything I saw in the vision God gave me when I started my business in 1993. However, I was only generating $13,000. I said 13,000. That's less than what equals living below the poverty line. And I remember my breakthrough moment like it was yesterday. It was November 7th, 2010. I remember the date even. And I had just gotten home from another speaking weekend. And yes, by the way, I did have a daytime job, y'all. So that's when I was an adjunct professor. At the time, it was Boston University. And I had a class at 8 a.m. Now, again, this is Sunday night. My class is at 8 a.m. the next morning. And I hadn't read my syllabus. I don't even think I read the books that I told my students to read. I hadn't written a lecture note. And I remember being exhausted, thinking, I can't do this like this anymore. This is $13,000. This ain't even a check that I can write anything with. But at the same time, I felt in conflict because I knew this was my purpose. But doing it like this ain't gonna work. So I prayed, Lord, if this is really you. Now, mind you, I'm tired. I'm frustrated. Tears are streaming down my eyes. So I'm telling this story now to sound simple, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I was worn out and I just couldn't do it. So when I prayed, God, if this is really my purpose, I'm going to need you to show me something. And I was so done. I prayed, and I probably was a lot funkier than that when I prayed. And I didn't realize my breakthrough was coming because I was so tired that I didn't write this down and how fast this happened. But I got invited to go to a conference. I went to that conference. I lived in Boston at the time, even though I'm from California. I lived in Boston. The conference was in California. So I flew all the way to California. And I'm saying that because a ticket cost $500. My plane ticket cost $500. Registration ticket $500. Plane ticket $500. My hotel was $1,500. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford not to go. But I said, I'm going to give this my one last chance. I get there. I meet my coach. My coach cost $30,000. Told you I only made $13,000 in my business. Okay. So I couldn't afford it, but I couldn't afford not to do it. I had never invested in my business or in my purpose. So when I prayed, God said, this is it. So I said, okay, I got to risk it all to gain it all. Because listen, faith, Hebrews 11:1, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Remember earlier I said you're going to have to come out of your comfort zone. Yeah, this was all the way out of my comfort zone. I didn't have a savings account. I was still paying on my student loan, let alone this other $30,000. So I said, okay. Knees knocking and cheek chattering. I remember pulling out my credit card. I called my husband. I said, I'm going to need you to trust me, and hung up because I didn't want him to tell me no. We laugh at that now. It wasn't funny then. He was mad at me for months. But I'm going to tell you, I put that first payment on my credit card and I prayed, God, okay, I'm going to risk everything to do this. Do you know I went from 13,000 to over 200,000 within 6 months? So I'm sharing that story with you because as I told you guys pieces of my story, my ego was in my way. I kept feeling like I could do this. I had to humble myself and trust God in that moment and do the work. And because I invested not in my coach, in me and in the purpose God gifted me, I could have stayed in that failure moment. I could have been rolling in the ground and, oh, why my business? And I was, by the way, why is my business failing? But instead of praying about it and praying about it, it was time for me to be about it. So that's what I learned in that moment, Stephanie. And I'm going to tell you every moment since, because, oh, that wasn't the last time I failed. Oh, you can't be an entrepreneur and not fail. But every failure is an opportunity. I call it failing forward now, because every failure is an opportunity for me to learn a lesson and grow and move forward in it. And it blesses my clients because I'll say, girl, let me tell you when I messed this up. And then I tell them the story so that they don't make that mistake. I've made mistakes in relationships. I've made mistakes in all kind of areas. And every mistake I've made has made me better. So you need to be bitter or better because you grow from it. And so in that moment for my business, it took me 17 years to get it, but I finally got it. And I've been growing by leaps and bounds. And part of me feels like God had me go through that 17-year journey so I'd be passionate that nobody else has to go through all that I went through as long as I went through to be successful.
Ooh, I'm over here. I'm like preaching it. Can I look? And I know they said she gonna say it. Yes, I'm gonna say it because we say this almost every week because it needs to be said. I don't really get it, but I get it in a sense of I know you just explained it so beautifully. You looked at your account. You knew, and when you said you called the husband, trust me on this.
I was like, he was coming back. I was like, click, click, click. Oh, he was mad at me for weeks, y'all.
But I know.
What I should have done is say, God, please, you go talk to him, please. That's what I should have done, but I didn't.
Use that. I'm going to tell you, look, how many of you, if you on here and you are like the rest of, you got somebody you got to, might need it that's also attached to that credit card or that bank account or
he wasn't even attached to the credit card, y'all. Listen, he wasn't. So what's so deep is I was going to do it through my business, but because I call him my no, because he thinks he works here. But he is very helpful because he works in corporate. So he gives me, so I knew he'd see it at some point. So I had to tell him so he wouldn't find out because we are in our relationship, we tell each other everything, especially when we're spending a lot of money. And so I was like, if I don't tell him now, you're going to find out anyway. It's going to be worse. So yeah.
Right. And who wants to be on the back end? You want all this explaining, sometimes they do, it work, but I'm going to tell you, invest in yourself. This is all, and and for my coaches out there, my coaches, my speakers, my entrepreneurs, my CEOs, all this kind of good stuff. If you have a business, product, or service, and whatever amount it is that you're trying to serve the community with, and it has a price tag on it, you're never going to sell that item if you're not willing to spend that money on yourself.
Oof.
If you never spent that, if you never spent that yourself, how you asking somebody else? Your mind won't let you go there.
And you won't pay for it. So you want somebody to invest in you, but you won't invest in you. So that don't make no sense.
We can do a whole show on investment. That drives me crazy because I know I invest in a minute. And particularly me, I'm banking on me.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, I have to do the work. You can pour into me all day long and give me the knowledge, but if I don't believe that I can do what you've already proven that can be done, then it won't happen. It's mindset. Everything starts with mindset. So Nicole, you have heard awesome guests after awesome guests come on here and tell you to invest in yourself. Now, some of you have been amazing. You've been smart. You have gone out there and you have actually said, oh my God, that person is talking. They're talking my language. I need to work with that person. And you have went out there, paid the money, did what you need to do, and got what you need to get. And you've elevated yourself, but you will never grow. There's no way you're going to grow. One of my mentors and one of my coaches, who I invested in, by the way, Trevor Otts, told me, here's the deal. Most of us that are entrepreneurs or any business owner or anybody else who is frustrated, we're frustrated because we absolutely either have the wrong tool, and if we have the right tool and we're still frustrated, the wrong strategy.
Yeah.
The wrong tool or the wrong strategy or both. Get what you need, and you probably can't figure it out on your own. That's why a coach comes in handy. Somebody, an expert, someone that knows they've done it. They listen, they've done it. They failed at it and they've succeeded and get on the other side of it. And that's why you must invest. So you can keep on trudging along, keep doing what you're doing, keep getting what you're getting.
And that was me for 17 years, by the way. So don't be stupid like me. I can call myself stupid. 17 years. And what happens is, like you just said, Stephanie, you can have tools. Nobody says you didn't have tools. But Bishop A.R. Bernard, one of my favorite quotes, the tools you use on this level are not sufficient for your next. So you're using tools for down here, but you're trying to be up here. Does that make sense? It's like me. Listen, when I was in the 8th grade, I begged my mother for a Jerry curl. Begged her for a Jerry curl. Y'all remember Jerry curl? And my mother said, you better go wet your hair. I don't want no big hair because this wasn't in there. Remember, Jerry curls were nice and slim and shiny. And yeah, she was like, you better go wet your hair and call it a day. But mommy, you telling me that I have these tools, but I want this. That ain't working. Just giving you a little funny thing to realize what I mean. So yeah, me wetting my hair was not going to give me the Jerry curl that Donna Summer had on her album. That's what I wanted. Okay.
Girl, they got something for that. We go here throw a wig when we call them girlfriends. But let me tell you, and now what we all doing? Wetting our hair and going about our business. Is it crazy? I think if we did a whole survey on, hey, tell us about the time. And matter of fact, if it's you, go ahead and put in there. If you had you a Jerry curl, S curl, all them curls, go ahead and put it in there. I had it. It's me.
Wave new bow.
Let's get it wet, wavy. But let me tell you, they've already got you already got the website. And as we say on this platform, we don't bring on anybody on this platform that we wouldn't do business with. Period. We'll bring no junk on here. You have heard so much awesome stuff, you all. Don't miss this opportunity. I'm going to say it. And look. Let's see what the people are saying. Look, Facebook they're already crying, but they probably, that's all. I know that you had the
about my Jerry curl, my Donna Summer. I wanted to be Donna Summer.
They just rolling your hair. But
my mother was like, you better go wet your hair. And didn't even turn around and look at me either. I was like,
you know what it was? Because that was the I said what I said before she had to say it.
And I was like, let me hush before I get slapped, because then the hand would start coming. So I was like, let me go about my business. But yeah.
You know, it was the say one more word. You know, the look at you. Oh, Lord, y'all, some of you all don't know about the look. If you don't, God bless you.
Right.
For the rest of us, we still going to the therapist about it. But anyway, but so this is again. Thank you, Dr. Nicole. You all, everything's gonna be on the website. Of course, those of you that watch the replay, reach out to Dr. Nicole. If she didn't already talked about, I know she's speaking to many of you. If she's already tapped in on, she's stepping on your toes, she's in your lane. You've been trying to figure out somebody somewhere. Number one, get the book she told you about. Start there. Number two, go to the website. Go to the site. Go there and get what you need. Stop wishing, because a wish, right, is a dream unless you put a date on it or you have a blueprint, you have a plan. So stop dreaming, stop wishing, because they don't get you to where you're trying to get to. So I'm going to let my good co-host close this out. And Dr. Nicole, thank you. You've been a blessing.
You.
Amazing. I cannot wait.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for having me. Thank you both.
All right.
Appreciate you.
And Hope closes on out.
All right, everyone, you have heard it here. Invest in yourself. And the one true thing you can always get from logging in every Wednesday, whether you listen live or you listen to the replay, you get to hear women elevating other women, and that is important. So take the knowledge, take the steps, what you need to do to elevate yourself to the next level, because the tools and the resources you have were good for that one level. But as Dr. Nicole said, you may need new tools and resources to elevate you to the next. So as Stephanie would always say, shine your light. If your light is too bright for you, put on your sunglasses. If it is too bright for someone else, ask them to put on their sunglasses. And just remember that light inside of you is the light of the Holy Spirit. Allow it to shine. He's giving you the gifts and purpose inside of you in order for you to shine and do what he has asked for you to do. So good night, all. We will see you next week at 6:30 on Her Story, Our Story. Have a good night.